Hello, welcome back. I'm Dr. Arpita. Today I'll discuss with you life history strategies. Life history strategy of a species is the overall pattern in average timing and nature of life history events. It is shaped by the way the organism divides its time and energy between growth, reproduction, and survival. Some life history traits are determined genetically. Ideal or optimal life histories maximize fitness. Now, this fitness can be defined as genetic contribution to future generation. R and K continuum is useful in relating life histories to population growth characteristics. The most notable example to study life history strategies is the theory of R and K selection, which was given by MacArthur and Wilson in 1967. This was based on their work on island biogeography. Life history strategy is correlated with many aspects of an organism's reproductive strategy and life history, as well as with demographic variables like generation time, lifespan, and population parameters like population density and population dynamics. A successful life history strategy is indicated by a stable or growing population, or in other words, a population is successful if the value of R is greater than or equal to 0, where R is the rate of growth of a population. If R is greater than 0, we say that the population is a growing population. So a positive value indicates a growing population, while a negative value indicates a shrinking population. That means when the value of R is less than 0, then we say that the population is a declining or shrinking population. And finally, when R is equal to 0 or near 0, we say that the population is a stable one. Now we'll talk about R and K selected species in details. R selected species are those that have a high reproductive rate and produce many offsprings with little parental investment. Parental investment means parental care. Particularly, these species typically have a short lifespan. That means they don't live for a long span of time, and they grow very fast. They grow quickly. Moreover, these species are adapted to unstable environments. Now we'll talk about the specific characteristics of these R selected species. These R selected species have high reproductive rate. That means they reproduce fast, and they reproduce more number of individuals at a time. That means the litter size is also pretty big. Body size is small, and they have short lifespan. They don't live for many number of years. Their maturity is pretty early. That means they mature early. There is very little parental investment. That means very little parental care. Diet is generalized. That means it's not fixed that this particular animal will only have this particular type of food. Like, for example, if I say rats, rats feed on huge range of food items, isn't it? So their diet is not fixed, it's general. High dispersal ability, high population growth rate, and very important, generalized niche. Generalized niche in the sense they can live anywhere. No niche is specific for them, that they're only going to live in this particular area, and they're not going to live in some other places. So you'll see, like, if we take rat as an example, this type of organism, rat, mice, you'll find them everywhere, isn't it? So their niche is also generalized, right? Now carefully take a look at these examples. Some of the important examples of R selected species or R strategists are cats, dogs, insects, rodents, fish. All of these, if you take a close look at their lifestyle, you will see that these doesn't invest a lot in parental in upbringing their child and all. Parental care is less. Size of litter is pretty big. So at one point of time, they give birth to huge number of offsprings, isn't it? So these are examples of R selected species or R strategists. Okay. Now we'll talk about the K selected species or K strategists. These K selected species are, on the other hand, those species that have a low reproductive rate. That means they don't reproduce at a very high rate, like human beings. They don't reproduce at a very high rate. In their lifespan, they reproduce maximum thrice, maybe 4 times. Other primates, elephants, bigger animals like this. Okay, and they produce few offsprings with a high level of parental investment or parental care. We all know this, right? Human kids are given excess amount of love and care by their parents, and probably that is the reason why human kids are so dependent. As a result, these species typically have a longer lifespan and grow more slowly. Moreover, they are adapted to stable environments where competition for resources is very, very high. These different species are in an environment where there is always a competition for resources. Okay. Now let's analyze their specific characteristics. They have low reproductive rate, large body size, long lifespan, late maturity, high parental care. See, you can match all these characteristics with humans. Human beings have a low reproductive rate, body size is pretty large, then lifespan is also comparatively much longer. They mature late, that means they don't mature too early, and parental care is terribly high. Next, you see they have high specialization for diet, low dispersal ability, low population growth rate, and very, very specific niche. They don't occur anywhere and everywhere. So specialist niches definitely there for K selected species. Now look at this survivorship curve. This shows you the different K selected and R selected species, where you will see on the x-axis survival per 1000 individual is plotted, and on the y-axis you'll see percent of maximum lifespan. Now the survivorship curve gives us an idea about the lifespan and survival patterns of the R-selected and K-selected species. The type 1 survivorship curve is represented by human beings. Type 2 is represented by hydra, and type 3 is being represented by oysters. The type 3 survivorship curve is for R-selected species, while type 1 is for K-selected species. Okay, this in between you can see the straight line. This is the type 2 curve. This is known to have something in moderation. In moderation, in the sense, see here, constant loss is seen, typically intermediate reproductive strategies with fairly constant mortality throughout all age classes. Okay, but for type 1, that is K-selected strategies, they reproduce few young ones, as I've already told you, and care for them until they reach reproductive age, thus reducing juvenile mortality. For type 3, for oysters, frogs, fish, and all those things, all those organisms, they have many offsprings, high infant mortality, and high survivorship once a certain size and age is attained. Okay. Now, whatever we have discussed so far, in a nutshell, it is summarized here in this table. This table shows you the various parameters which is taken into consideration when we do a comparative study about R and K strategists. So, this picture is a complete snapshot of whatever we have discussed throughout the lecture. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed learning about R and K strategists. Stay tuned for more new lectures, and regarding this topic, if you have any doubts, any confusion, please feel free to get back to me. Till then, stay tuned and happy learning. Bye-bye.